Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode ever of Caster's Corner Presents Cryptid Conversations. This is our first podcast ever that we are doing. My name is Caster MJ. Some of you know me from running the Caster's Corner Discord as well as the Instagram page. I've made a couple of videos on the YouTube. I'm going to be hosting this podcast along with my co-founder of Caster's Corner, Deadly. As well as the One-Eyed Crow.
How's it going?
The One-Eyed Crow here. Yeah. So with that, I just wanted to let everybody know that we will have links in our description for the Discord channel, as well as our Instagram, and as well as the One-Eyed Crow's YouTube channel. He does weekly updates on MetaZoo news. This channel is sponsored by Immortal Workshop. His link will also be in the description. There is a code you could use for Caster's Corner that will just let Immortal Workshop know that you came from Caster's Corner. So yeah, with this first episode, guys, we just really want to introduce who we are, what this podcast is, and kind of how we got into MetaZoo. A lot of people, were talking about collecting the game and different things like that. So we just want to have a healthy discussion about pretty much anything MetaZoo. This first episode is just for you guys to get to know us a little bit. So with that being said, I'm going to pass the torch over to the One-Eyed Crow. One-Eyed Crow, how did you yourself get introduced into MetaZoo and start doing all this news and end up where you are today with everything?
Yeah, so when I started my channel, I'd never heard of MetaZoo, actually. I was started on the Pokemon side, just opening up stuff because I wanted to. It was actually when Celebrations came out, which is kind of a nostalgia kind of set for me, right? It had all these old past sets in it. It had the chases for the UPCs had the gold Pikachu and Charizard. I mean, everyone wanted those, right?
Yeah.
So started on that side, and with the way that advertisements work, obviously I was doing a lot of Pokemon searches, and MetaZoo started popping up in my Facebook feeds and everywhere around the internet. So I kept seeing it, and I was like, okay, that's different, and I kind of brushed it off the first couple times. And the more I saw it, the more I started to like it. Right, the art, especially, was very reminiscent of early Pokemon and that kind of stuff. So. Yeah. It kind of hit in that nostalgia factor. At first, it was like, okay, and then it was like, actually, I really like this stuff, And then, I joined the Discord, and it was the first MetaZoo hour where it really kind of hit home, right? It was the community involvement of the company, right? And then just kind of seeing how the community interacts, and this community is incredibly open and generous and amazing.
Yeah.
So, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have stayed around as long as I have, right? You find like-minded people, and it's easy to be in that community. Crossing paths with you guys, right? I think a lot of our goals with what we're doing align, right? Really, it was that first MetaZoo hour that really allowed me to kind of just go full force and say, yeah, this is something I'm really interested in. They do so much, it's hard to keep up. I want to start helping people keep up, right? So I started doing, so much. I started doing opening, and you remember my early videos. I was opening cards while talking about the news, and it was actually Jody, MetaZoo HQ Jody, who had reached out and was like, hey, I love what you're doing. But the card opening's a little distracting, and for me it was an excuse to open cards. Like, I also wanted to talk about this stuff. So I ended up dropping that and kind of just focusing on just the news stuff for a little bit, and that went really well. But from there, every video I wanted to kind of make it a little bit better, right? So eventually I added the green screen in and up the audio quality and all that, and that's kind of where I'm at today. But really, the big reason I'm here is just the amazing community, and you guys are part of that too. And that's why we're here today.
Absolutely. That is why we're here today. Yeah, MetaZoo's community it's like incredibly strong and supportive. that's kind of how Caster's Corner itself started. Was I got into playing the game, which Deadly's going to get into here in a minute. But I got into playing the game, and I just didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I needed help from the community who was already playing it, and that's literally how Caster's Corner got started. But with that being said, that'll segue into right now. Like I said, my co-founder, Deadly here, just a little backstory before I pass the torch off to him, just so some people watching this could get the hang of things. Me and Deadly live locally to one another. He's one of my best friends. We've played other games together, video games, things like that. So him and me getting into MetaZoo kind of happened together, and that's why he's going to be mainly, sharing the story here. So with that, Deadly, go ahead. How did you get into MetaZoo?
All right. Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm Deadly. I've been playing MetaZoo for what? I don't know, about a year now, give or take, a little less. But basically, I played Magic for, I don't know, from the time I was like 13. I was Pokemon before that. Never got back into Pokemon, but stayed with Magic. And more recently, in the last like 4 years, I was playing Draft every Friday with Adrian, our buddy. It just started taking off when we started doing that for a good year. And then a little hiatus happened, and Matt came out of nowhere and was just like, MetaZoo. And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Come play Magic. And he's like, no, dude, I don't like Magic. I was like, all right. Fast forward another month, and I was like, yo, what's up with MetaZoo? And he was like, dude, booster boxes, this, that. And I was just like, all right, let's buy some. I want to see these cards. And then we bought a couple of booster boxes, and I spend a lot of money sometimes. So like, I think I bought like 4 or 5, 2 booster boxes. It's like going crazy. And we ripped through all of them. And I pulled like 4 Mothmans. MJ didn't pull any. But basically that's kind of started. Yeah. I mean, we had good pulls, but regardless, I mean, that's kind of how it all started. And then I started learning the game. I remember going over to MJ's house, and we got in a heated argument because I'm bringing Magic knowledge, and you have to leave everything at the door. I mean, for the most part, you can bring some of the dynamics with it, but like you have to leave some of the the ruling that you're aware of for Magic. You have to leave it at the door because you just won't understand, and you will miss out on the game that's going on, and you'll make a problem for yourself. But regardless, from there on out, we pretty much just started playing, learning the cards, studying, figuring out that there was this pretty big community of people that were also involved in it. And MJ was like, I'm making a Discord. I want to learn how to play. I want to get people involved in this game. And boom, that's where we all took off and kind of all met together here. So, did I miss anything on that story?
One thing that I always find funny and that I like to bring up to people when I tell the story of us getting into MetaZoo is that honestly, like, part of our intentions going into this was to make some money.
I have not made any money. I have not made any.
No, we've probably done the exact opposite of that, but
but I keep spending more. I don't know. Like
Deadly was saying, yeah, we bought those initial booster boxes to make videos of us opening the products. I was joking about this with the One-Eyed Crow last week when we were talking. I was trying to become like the next Leonhardt for Pokemon, but for Magic, basically. I don't know what delusion I was living in, but yeah, I thought it was possible, but it's not possible. So we were opening those first booster boxes, like he said, and like I said, I pulled the Quets. We were recording it, trying to make these videos so we could potentially get famous on YouTube, and we're reading it like Quet. This is a Quetzalcoatlus, and we had no idea what we were saying. That was literally my first pull. Yeah.
If it wasn't for my kids' show, my kids watch a show called Dino Dana, which has the Quetzalcoatlus in it. I would not have known how to pronounce it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I did not even know that. But yeah, so after that, and me and Deadly looking at the awful videos that we produced on our cell phones.
So bad.
We were like, we need to learn a little bit more about this game. You know what I mean? We need to figure out the characters. We need to figure out what we're looking for poll wise. We need to figure out like what people are looking, like all this stuff. And in doing that, again, that's kind of how Caster's Corner was created. When I created Caster's Corner, I didn't even know that the MetaZoo Discord existed. I was just like, we open these cards, and I was like, where do I learn this information from? I tried Googling all this stuff, and you couldn't find anything really. So I was like, I'm in all these Pokemon Discords. Let me create a Discord. Deadly didn't even know what Discord was.
For real. I had no idea.
So I created the Discord, and I want to get into this with you next, the One-Eyed Crow. That's when my intentions went from like collecting the game and trying to make some money off of it to learning the cards and falling in love with like the playability of them and changing it up. Like I'm not at all where I am, where I was when I started today with MetaZoo. I consider myself both a collector and a player, but I'm definitely a player first.
Yeah. I'm transitioning now.
Yeah. So elaborate on that a little bit, if you will.
Yeah. So I didn't start with the investing side. That never really got me. I know when I think of the MetaZoo community, there's three camps, right? There's the investors, the collectors, the players. The investors are the ones that get pissed off very easily.
Yeah.
The collectors, we're here because we love the art and we want to collect it, right? And then the players, we're here because we love the game. And I never really got into the investing side. It was interesting, but it was like, I can't really have something on this. Like, if I get a Kickstarter box, that's not sitting on a shelf. It's going to get ripped. I don't have the willpower.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I definitely started on the collecting side. And it was just, building master sets, right? That was my goal, is I just want, one of everything. The art's awesome. I love it. Let's just collect it all, right? And then, more recently, I've always been interested to play, but it's always been one of those things of I just have so much going on that it's hard to take that jump, which is my own excuse. It's a bad excuse. There's always time to play. It's just, part of what was holding me back was, and you've been offering to teach me for a long time, was the feeling of, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know the rules very well. I don't want to jump in with these experienced players and feel like I'm dragging them down. And I feel like this is what a lot of people feel like in MetaZoo that haven't started playing yet. And it's getting past that, okay, the feeling of I'm not weighing them down. They want to teach me. They want me to be part of this group, to be part of this player base, to grow it, to, bring deck building ideas, to figure out how all of this works. And grow the communities that we have, right? My first game was the UFO release event last week in Pelham, New Hampshire, at Next Gen Comics, and they had all been to Caster's Cup. So immediately I was a little intimidated. I was there. I was with these people that were experienced, and it was, they were amazingly welcoming, even though I had never played a game before, right? So we just slowly kind of went through stuff, talked about what all the traits do as we hit them, and all that. So that fear just melted away instantly, right? It was okay. They're here to help me, right? I lost every game, and I expected to. I'm actually kind of happy with that turnout. But it was eye-opening playing the game and finally seeing like firsthand how it works, how things synergize together, and just some of the unique gameplay.
Just learning the basics.
Right? To the point where I was telling you earlier today, I was dreaming about deck building last night. Like it's starting to take over. It's consuming. So I did have one question for you, though, real quick, before I forget. Caster's Corner. Did you come up with that name yourself, or did you pull it from somewhere?
So, no. I just happen to have a knack for, like, finding names and, like, creating slogans and things like that. My friends my whole life have been asking me to do stuff like that. I have a past of, like, writing poetry and music and things like that. Even some short stories in like high school years and stuff like that. So My vocabulary is not that great, honestly, but for some reason
He's a
I'm
whiz,
just gonna be
though.
honest, you know what I mean? But for some reason, I just have a way of like working with words. So I believe, kind of like what I did for this podcast, I sent you like a list of like I just spit names as they come to my head type of thing.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure one night I was just laying in bed or sitting on my couch or something like that. Like I just put the kid down or something, and I'm like, Deadly, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one?
Okay.
And then finally, we came down to 2, and I forget what the other one is now. One of them was Caster's Corner, and one of them was something else Caster or Caster something else.
Yep.
But I don't remember what it was anymore, and we just went with this one because we felt like the 2 C's just like flowed together nicely, and it's just like a nice little area for us, you know, MetaZoo outcasts in a way to hang out, you know.
Yep. So possibly Tormentic might turn over in his grave for this question. Have you read the comics?
I have.
Okay. So
I
in
own-
chapter 2, there is a Caster's Corner. So I didn't know if you pulled it
There
from
is,
the
yes,
books
but
or.
Oh, wow.
No, so this I read them. Probably actually I read them only, I want to say like 2 months ago or something like that. I read the digital one online. But previous to that, I already heard synopsises and people going over it on YouTube. So I already did know the story without reading it, but then I did read it because the person who I was listening to would say all the time, like, these aren't exact details. So I was like, I want to know the exact details. The exact details. So I eventually went back and read them. I do own every single print except for Chapter 1, Print 1.
Yep.
I do own a Chapter 1, Print 2, but not the Print 1, and I'm very upset about that. Deadly knows I've been trying to get that for a while now.
Yeah, I pointed one out
But
to
yeah,
him
I'm a
early on. It was like $300. I was like, dude, do it.
I
Do it.
regret
And they're
not
like,
getting it.
and then now you
I
can't even get it.
I regret it now. But I'm a huge fan of the story, actually,
Yep.
and like Deadly could attest to this. Like the same time period when Caster's Corner just started, which was about probably January, the end of January of 2022. That's when I was learning about the story. Again, not reading it yet, but just learning about the story. And we were just learning about the gameplay.
Yep.
And I'd be like, bro, do you understand like this species in the story and this one? Like they go to like the castle and like it was all like coming together for me, and it made me want to get even more into the gameplay, honestly. I thought it was so cool how Mike and the team of MetaZoo was able to like just interweave every single detail of everything MetaZoo. It's so well thought out that like I don't think it gets the credit it deserves, honestly.
That's true. I dove into them after Mike had mentioned there's a bunch of hidden, secrets and stuff in the stories, and if you kind of look through them, when I think it's chapter 1 came out, right? Wilderness had not even been mentioned yet, but there's a fur-bearing trout is one of the images. So they had some of the art that they've already used in the comics that then became part.
MJ was
they
all
done a
over
great
the
job.
playmats. He noticed the playmats early on. He was like, "Who's this? Who the heck is this? I don't know this guy. He's not in the story." So I was like, "I don't know, man. Maybe it's Sam's father." He's like, "No, he's right there."
Yeah, for the Cryptid Nation playmat, the one where there's like Sam Sinclair, all the BCs in the background, Rose Robinson is on it, Adam Ackler's on it. There's a guy who I don't know who it is on it, and it could be because at the time I was not as familiar with the comics, but I still believe I don't know who it is. Maybe it was M. Maybe it's M. But it's like a man. It's an older male. But like Deadly saying, at the time I didn't know who Rose was.
Right.
I didn't know who some of these BCs from UFO are and stuff like that are in the background, things like that. I'm like, what the? So they like really thought that. Like, I mean, they already have like Yokai Island planned out and stuff. You know what I mean? So like they're like steps ahead of us, the consumers.
I mean, at this point, Yokai
that
Island
gives me a lot of hope for this game.
Yokai Island's the
not that far
past
away.
now. They probably already figured that out, set it up. It's already ready to be printed. So we just got to figure out what they're planning
Yeah,
next.
they're moving on to Australia or something. Who knows?
Right.
You know, China. Who knows?
I think
You know.
Grimm's Kingdom is after Yokai Island, I believe. So it
Yes,
should
I
be
think you're right.
the
Actually,
UK,
yes.
right?
It is an.
Can't. Got to rely on the CNN, bro. On the Cryptid Nation news.
But real quick, I now want to get into continuing with that, where you're at currently, Deadly, with this. I'm going to be the one that drops this right now real quick because I know how you are and you won't mention this. But Deadly is the only one on the Team Caster's Corner who did make it to the top 32 at Caster's Cup this year.
Yeah,
So,
go me.
with that being said, Deadly, where are you at?
What do you mean? Where am I at? What do you mean exactly?
Because you consider yourself more of a collector now, or do you consider yourself more of a player? Do you fall,
absolutely.
Do you fall in the middle? Like, where are you with MetaZoo right now?
So I can tell you where I was. I can tell you where I am now. So where I was, solely player. I don't care what the card's value is. If it has no utility, I don't want it. And that is dressing. And I don't know if it has something to do with MetaZoo's art. I don't know if it has to do something with this, like how good they are and how nice. And then included with the gameplay as well. It's just kind of taken me over. I can't really explain it any other way, but it has made me into collecting their product, regardless of whether I collect Magic or collect Pokemon, because I don't see any desire in collecting those two things. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. I don't see any interest in Pokemon, and I don't see any interest in Magic. I still hold dear to my heart but I just have no desire to play it because it's stale to me. I don't know if anyone else in the playing world feels like games get stale, but Magic's been around since 1992, 93. I think it's kind of stale.
Yeah, I felt that way with Pokemon recently. I felt like everybody was just copying everybody's decks, and it was the same exact thing. Everybody was playing the same two decks pretty much. MetaZoo, like, anything's possible. It's crazy. Something I learned from Caster's Cup especially is like, a card you think might not have utility in this game might have utility in this game. There's not a single card that can't be playable if the deck isn't right, if the surrounding isn't right. This game, no one knows where it's going to go. Yeah. So those cards that might mean nothing right now might mean something tremendous with the next set that comes out, with Seance, let's say.
That's what we were talking about.
I really learned that in Caster's Cup.
We were talking about that last night with Wood Devil when you were explaining to me how that exploded just before Caster's Cup and why.
Yep.
So something that had been around since last fall. Nightfall came out. Didn't really get traction until March timeframe.
Exactly.
The thing about this gameplay is, also for me, building a spellbook, building a deck, I like having a little bit of direction. So like for Immortal, his tournament, he has the set Pseudoterra, environment, whatever it is. That means that I have baseline. Okay, it's going to be full moon and forest. All right, now I start looking at those, and I'm looking for buffs. I'm looking for one drops. I'm just going to shout it out here. The Salamander. He's got a 50 bonus, Terra bonus for forest. Then he's hitting for what? 75. He's a 50 LP, and he's a one drop. So I'm going to do
one drop.
I'm going to be doing fire for Immortal's tournament most likely. Mix in with some UFO, it's going to go off. So I kind of was battling between full moon, doing like werewolves or doing dark. But regardless, that is what I love about this game is that Terra can. There's so many swings, and you literally can win with 10 LP left. It's crazy. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy. Well, with that, guys, I think that explains like kind of how we got into this and where we're at now with MetaZoo. So with that, I just wanted to kind of like close out a little bit this first episode. So with that being said, I just wanted to let like the viewers know that if you join the Caster's Corner Discord server, we are going to now be having a section somewhere on the side where you could click on that's going to say podcast, and in that there is going to be a suggestion tab, and that obviously is for you guys to leave us any suggestions that you may want to see content-wise in these podcasts coming up in the future, as well as there will be a Q&A tab, and that is for you guys to ask us any questions that you want. That could be about gameplay, that could be about us and MetaZoo, and that could be about cards, that could be about what you think we should be collecting. Whatever you guys have, throw it in there. I did want to let everybody know that we are always doing giveaways in the Discord server. Currently, right now, we have a giveaway going on for Termantic. If you guys don't know who Termantic is, I will leave a link to his YouTube down below as well. He's a great guy who is sharing videos and content on the lore and the story behind MetaZoo. So go check him out, support him, and join that giveaway. They're giving away a booster box and 5 theme decks, so there will be 6 different winners. Lastly, I just wanted to also point out that Caster's Corner every Friday is now going to be hosting a learning event. That'll be every single Friday night. It will be a webcam event through our Discord. It is on the Play Network. You just have to go to the Play Network. I will leave that link also in the description. You just have to sign up. Right now we have it capped to 8 people. If more want to join, just DM me. I will extend that to allow more people to come in. This is just going to be to allow people to learn how to play. Like the One-Eyed Crow said, a lot of people feel intimidated coming into this. It's a very confusing game. They don't want to get wrecked immediately. They don't want to feel like they're slowing down somebody who wants to go fast in the game, things like that. I cannot express enough how much that Deadly, myself, the rest of the community just loves talking about this game, loves playing this game, and we want to help other people learn this game. I honestly haven't had this much fun since I was like a little kid. So I just want to spread the joy, you know what I mean? Like tremendously. It's so much fun. It's like, I get so annoyed playing the game, but I'm having fun at the same time because I don't like to lose, you know what I mean? But I lose a lot. The One-Eyed Crow beat me yesterday, for example. I lose a lot. But I have the time of my life, and I wouldn't rather be doing anything else at 10 p.m. at night when I got nothing else going on, you know? So anybody who's new and wants to learn, please sign up. Join us in the Discord Fridays, 9 p.m. Ask us any questions you have and learn how to play the game. Now with that, does anybody, One-Eyed Crow, Deadly, you guys want to close out, say anything? You got any last words?
No, not really.
Yeah, just...
Here, we can cut that. Go ahead. You go ahead.
This was a planned segment.
Yeah.
But, no, just, yeah, thanks for watching the first episode, and hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, there's so much that we have to talk about. A lot of the stuff that we talked about today wasn't even planned to be talked about. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing to do this podcast with you guys.
Well,
yeah.
I appreciate you guys being here, and I appreciate everybody watching. Like the video, subscribe to our channel. We'll be dropping one of these hopefully every week. That's our plan. And yeah, we hope to see you next time, guys. Really appreciate you.